Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back once again and for the very first time to the Farts and Crap Show, where today, as per usual, it's your host Anjo here with part 17 of Super Mario Bros. 3. Although technically, on today's episode, going forward, this is Super Mario Advance 4, also known as the Game Boy Advance version, and I was wrong initially. I said there wasn't that much of a difference between this version and the Super Mario All-Stars version. This is based on that version quite heavily, but there are quite a few new things and slight differences actually in the gameplay. In the levels, animations, sprite work, a little bit of that. In a sense, this is kind of a remaster of the All-Stars version. I do believe, because the All-Stars version was very faithful to the original, and just talking about Mario 3, not the other games, this one actually, reworks a good amount of things. Like Luigi's mechanics, the actual hitboxes, some of the things you can do in the levels. There's quite a few differences. And of course it's in the Game Boy Advance aspect ratio, which is 3:2, 2:3, I can't remember, it's one of those two. It's a little wider than 4:3, so I think it's called 3:2, I believe. But yeah, this released for the 20th anniversary of the original Mario Brothers, not Super Mario Brothers, but the arcade game, which came out in 1983. Now we have, oh yeah, make sure those are off. Yeah. Now, the original was for the 10th anniversary in 1993, the original Super Mario All-Stars. Because again, 1983 is kind of when it all started, which is a little different from another version that initially I was going to record from, but there were some problems with it. I would say still are some problems with it. Now this one says 1988, that's because that was the Japanese release, I believe, for the original Super Mario Bros. 3. So that was what, 15th anniversary? So that'd be 10, would be 98, and then 5 more years. Yeah, 15th anniversary. But for the 25th anniversary, they released Super Mario All-Stars on the Wii. And this is completely uncorrected, raw footage that you guys are, seeing and listening to here. And, this is basically just the Super Nintendo ROM, put onto a Wii disc. And for the game itself, that's pretty much all it is. However, there were collector's editions of this game, and I believe with all the editions of this game, it came with a really nice booklet actually that kind of explained. It was kind of a celebration of all the games, with a lot of the original art and stuff from Shigeru Miyamoto? Yeah, Shigeru Miyamoto. And, anyway, but that was the anniversary of the original Super Mario Brothers. So that was in 2010. So that would have been the 25th anniversary of that game. So it's kind of weird. Sometimes they count the anniversary from the original Mario Brothers arcade game. Sometimes they count it from Super Mario Brothers. Although I would argue you could even count it from the original like Donkey Kong, because that was Mario's first game. So, you know, tomato, tomato, right? But yeah, this version of the game, I'm not really a big fan. Like the Wii port is fine. It's the Super Nintendo version, so it's already good. But it's stretched to 4x3. So if you, for example, played this on like a Super Famicom or a Super Nintendo back in the day, and you just plugged your console into a regular old CRT with either the composite or the RF connection, it would stretch to 4x3. That's not what the Super Nintendo aspect ratio is, but most people played Super Nintendo games stretched. And sometimes they were designing games with the intention of them being stretched slightly horizontally. Sometimes they weren't. Personally, I think square pixels look better. That's kind of just my opinion on that, but it's also just a little bit too dark. It's, they seem to be using a Gaussian filter. If you guys are unfamiliar as to what that is, it's basically it's a style of audio trying to mimic the original, kind of the sound of the original hardware, which was a little bit bass heavy. It's fine. It's not what the raw audio is supposed to sound like, but it's okay. That's why, if you compare this footage, for example, to any of the first 16 episodes of this series, you'll notice it sounds different. Personally, I don't really like the way this sounds, but to some people it may sound more like playing it on an original hardware situation, which, is fine. And there's a lot of nostalgia there for some people, so I understand why they may prefer that. But, yeah, personally, I don't really have nostalgia for this game. I have nostalgia for Mario World, but not this one. Namely because I didn't have an NES, and there's only a few Super Nintendo games I actually have nostalgia for, because I didn't have a Super Nintendo either until I was an adult. And there were just a handful of games I played extensively on the original hardware. So, actually, I think it was just two. I think it was just A Link to the Past and Mario World. But, what else? So yeah, it's stretched to 4x3, it's a little bit too dark. The Gaussian filter audio is, not quite what it's supposed to sound like. As far as the goods go, it was a great way to play Mario All-Stars on the Wii. A lot of people were very happy that it got re-released, and at the time, in 2010, yeah, this was pretty great. However, also being a 2010 release, they used basically the default, I'm pretty sure, they used the default Super Nintendo emulator that they used for a lot of Virtual Console releases and whatnot, which at the time was passable. It definitely doesn't hold up nearly as well. Even just on Switch Online nowadays, the Super Nintendo emulation is way better. So yeah, it's one of those things very much a product of its time. and for a while, like, I would have done this comparison like towards the beginning of the series in general, but I was like, you know what, we're doing another transition to another version of Mario 3, and this is a re-recording, so I was like, I want to do another quick comparison. And yeah, like, this is I mean, kind of the same goes for the Wii U as well. Like, it didn't have the best emulation for, and that right there, actually, that's something we'll get to here in a second, the power-up thing, because that's actually different in the Game Boy Advance version. So if you're like Small Mario and you pick up like a Fire Flower or a Leaf, it won't give you that power, it'll just power you up like one stage to Big Mario. In the Game Boy Advance re-release, it'll actually give you that power, which is pretty great. Like, either way is fine, honestly, but it's just preference. But yeah. There's a few problems with this version too, to be honest. It's the Game Boy Advance version, by the way. It's on the Game Boy Advance 1. That's a problem because the Game Boy Advance hardware did not really have great audio. It was most games didn't sound very good, and most games were like mono by default. Some had like a stereo output option or a headphones option. But yeah, the hardware itself, like, not great audio, but we're here to do the e-reader levels, which were re-released for the Wii U Virtual Console release, which was the first time actually that people internationally could play this game with all of the e-reader content. Because the e-reader, just finishing my coffee here, was short-lived, like very short-lived, to the point where not all of the e-reader cards for this game even got released outside of Japan. So this was kind of a big deal. Also, just being able to kind of get a copy of this game was kind of a big deal. Like, that was part of the beauty of the Virtual Console. Like, even at the time, a lot of people knew. I mean, you know, I wouldn't say a lot, but there was a large part of the audience, I'd say, that knew the emulation could be better. But that wasn't really the point. Like, the Wii was like so convenient and like family friendly, and it was backwards compatible with GameCube. It was just like, it was kind of an all-in-one device, which we'll get to the coins here in a minute. And like, the only thing it was missing was like a DVD player, which kind of strange. It couldn't really play physical media outside of like Wii and GameCube games. So like, it couldn't really... It sold incredibly well, but a lot of people still had, like, for example, a PlayStation 2, because it was a DVD player. And eventually, you know, they would, you know, bring like Netflix to the Wii, which, oh crap, I didn't mean to do that. Well, I mean, I'll take it. That was kind of like the only think it was the only like way to stream media to your Wii in an official capacity. But oh wait, did it get a YouTube app? The Wii U did. I don't remember if the Wii did or not, but what was the point of that? This is a recreation of the first like level 1-1 from the original Super Mario Brothers, by the way. I thought that went without saying. It's kind of an infamous level that even casual gamers like should almost instantly recognize. But there was another point I was getting to with that. Oh, at the time, a lot of people knew the emulation wasn't perfect, right? Now, thankfully, with the wireless for the Wiimotes and stuff, as long as your Wiimote was working properly, like, the latency was very low. I believe it was... I'm not even sure it was Bluetooth, it might have been RF, like 2.4 gigahertz. Can't remember exactly what type of wireless the Wiimotes use, but the latency was very low, which was nice. And a lot of games could be played just by turning the Wiimote to the side, like holding it horizontally. And so it kind of felt like using an original NES controller where you have the A and B buttons like horizontally next to each other, and then the D-pad was almost the same, like size-wise and like dimensions as the NES D-pad. So it was really cool because with the Wii version of Super Mario All-Stars, like you could play the game like that. And it kind of made it feel more authentic in a way, which is kind of a shame because like with this game on the Wii U, you can't do that, even though you have all the inputs that you would need, because essentially, like even though the Wiimote doesn't have as many inputs as a Super Nintendo controller, you didn't need all those inputs for Super Mario All-Stars. Like the Wiimote has the D-pad, right? Which I'm just gonna count as one thing, because all the games essentially use it as just the directional input. And then you have plus and minus, which was the start of plus and minus on Nintendo controllers, by the way. Then you had the home button, and then the 1 and 2, and then the A and B. So you got A, B, 1, 2, plus, minus, and home. I'm not going to count home because that's like a user interface thing. I think that's all of them. Yeah. So you had 6 buttons, basically. Oh, and the nunchuck. So if you had the nunchuck attached, then you had 2 more buttons and another directional input. So essentially you had the standard 8 buttons and 2 directional inputs, or, you know, one was a D-pad, one was an analog stick, but they're both directional inputs. And on the Super Nintendo controller, yeah, you had A, B, X, Y, L and R, and start and select. So you had 8 inputs. So you had 2 less on the Wiimote without the nunchuck, but that's still like more than an NES controller that just had start and select and A and B. So, because they didn't have shoulder buttons. So it's more than enough, technically. And this game actually Does utilize all the Game Boy Advance inputs, but Game Boy Advance is the same way. It had L, R, A, B, start, select. So 6 inputs. So you don't really need anything more than a Wiimote for Game Boy Advance games, but on the Wii U Virtual Console, you can't just use a Wiimote for Game Boy Advance games, which makes 0 sense. Granted, the layout on the Wiimote makes it a little bit difficult, but after you get used to it, it's fully playable. Like, I've played Game Boy Advance games with just a Wiimote before, and it's not tough. It takes some acclimation, but that's about it. But yeah. So all these first levels, if you guys already saw the original Part 17, like before I redid it for this version, you guys already know this, but I'm trying to retread all the same stuff I covered in that original one, also with some stuff I learned more recently. So, for example, part of the problem that happened, if you guys want to know the tech side of things, which if you're here, that's, yeah, that's pretty likely. So, basically, if you guys want the TLDR for that, which I know 20 minutes into the video is kind of late for a TLDR, but we're covering a lot of topics. So for that particular topic, yeah, my HDMI splitter, it finally died. So it was really great though. It was very reliable for a long period of time. I used it almost every day for like 4 years. So it was yeah. It did me good service, Sirash. But thankfully I already had backup. I did get an upgraded one a while, like over a year ago actually. From Orei, I think is how you pronounce it. O-R-E-I, I think is how it's spelled. They made like the industry standard, like HDMI splitter, especially for people making YouTube content and streamers and stuff like that. Odds are, if you've been doing it for a while, you have an Orei splitter, especially if you started in like sometime between like 2010 and 2020. So I had the super popular one, which I got back in, I think 2018, or maybe 2019? No, I had it before then. Yeah, it was somewhere in there. And it was the popular one, which at the time it had like 30-something thousand reviews on Amazon, with like an average of like 4.8 stars or something. It was just one of those pieces of tech that was like built like a tank, and it just did what you expected, you know? However, it only supported resolutions up to 1080p, which at the time was more than enough, because that was like, whoops, it was like the beginning of like the PS4 generation. So like PS4 Pro wasn't even out yet, like 4K was not a concern yet. And yeah, a lot of games were kind of struggling. Oh my goodness. A lot of games were struggling to hit solid frame rates even at 1080p. So, and a lot of devices at the time were using 59.94 hertz which is also known as NTFS, which has been the industry standard in displays really since the inception of televisions, at least in North America. But, or I would even say, well, not even digital displays actually. CRTs are not digital displays.
Just what I needed.
But something that everybody has. That is where the feces comes out. That is where it comes out. Anus. The bass, like, what do they call it? The dance break? No, it's called it's something like that. Like the splash note that goes in between like a couple lines of music. This one just has a pause. Oh wait, no, it has the didoo. Yeah, the da-da. Anyway, it's not a bridge. It has a specific name that's like, it's kind of like a bridge, but it's I don't know what that's called. Just a couple notes to fill in between two lines of music. Fuck. Whatever. Anyway. About the coins. Sorry. If you know, please put it in the comments. If you don't know offhand, don't worry about it. But to all my music theory nerds out there, so about the coins in this version. So obviously you have an L stamp and an R stamp, M stamp. You know, Luigi and his more famous brother, Wario. Wario, where are you? Anyway, classic worlds. So each one of the classic worlds only has one coin. So these are called the advanced coins, which is why they have a little A on them. Just like me. That is where the poop comes out. Got a little A on me. Really? So, there are 147 in total between all the different, like, e-reader levels, and a total of 8 e-coins, which I think they're just e-reader coins, I believe. And technically there is a different stamp for beating the levels as Luigi. I don't care about getting the L stamp. I don't know if anything happens if you fill the card completely. Maybe at the very end? I'm gonna try Classic World 1-1 as Luigi. Oh wait, no, I have to go. Right.
Luigi.
There we go. There we go. But we are gonna get all the coins. And Luigi is just incredibly floaty in this, which I am not a big fan, to be real. Like, his mechanics are just... it might be the floatiest Luigi has ever been, honestly. Oh, and you may notice on the top right, it shows the coin thing is like kind of black and has like a little, I guess, red and tan outline. So that just means, yeah, you already have the coin for this level. And not every coin gives you a 1-up, by the way. You get a 1-up for getting all the coins in a level. So for these first ones that only have 1, that means, you know, you get 1 coin and you get a 1-up, so that's pretty much it. Whoops. Oh.
Just what I needed.
Stop dying, you cowards! Trying. Oh, Goombas are just like the lemmings of the animal kingdom, aren't they?
Here I go.
Whoops. I honestly thought that would last a little bit longer.
Just what I needed. Lucky.
But yeah, that's the main reason I'm not a big fan of this version of the game. Mario and Luigi are just like way too chatty. And yeah, just gets annoying. And it's not just that, it's just the lower quality audio too on the Game Boy Advance hardware. Also the aspect ratio is all off. Like, I like the widescreen aspect of it. The fact that you can, but you can't see any further horizontally, even though the screen is wider. And that's because, like, it's zoomed in. So, effectively what they're doing is they're cropping the top and the bottom of the screen. And, it's also just kind of zoomed in too far. So that results in a lot of, like, scrolling, like not just the usual, like, horizontal scrolling, but also vertical scrolling. Yeah, it doesn't indicate anything else, just has an L on it. Oh wait, is it shining now? Oh no, that one does that too. Okay. Yeah, I don't think it matters.
Luigi. Mario.
Also, if you know that, if it matters if you clear it with both Mario and Luigi, let me know as well. I don't think it does. But I'm just guessing. I would imagine it doesn't. Oops. Let's
Just what I needed.
what was the other thing? There was like 2 more things I wanted to cover, and I'm trying to remember what they were. Don't think there's another power up here. Maybe. If I were a power up, where would I? That's probably where it would have been, actually. You dick. How dare you jump? Just the last moment. That's fine. That's fine. So you talked about the Wii version, the various anniversaries for the game. Oh my goodness. We're still using color correction. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I'm still using color correction. I did notice it was a little bit off in the previous episodes. I mean, not off, but well, yeah, not necessarily off. The like the Game Boy Advance is different. Like it has, dude, fucking big hole. All the games, pretty much every Game Boy Advance game, if you want to play it on the big screen, you're gonna have to use some kind of color correction. That is one thing, actually, they do very well on Switch Online with expansion pack. Is they have very good color correction for the Game Boy Advance content. However, oh my goodness, I'm just damage boosting, fuck you. But yeah, we're also using Opus Audio now. So the default for a very long time has been AAC for
Just what I needed.
most content on YouTube. That was like MP4, which was also the standard on YouTube for a very, very long time. But yeah, recently there was an update where you could actually choose your recording audio encoder, and in my testing I found that Opus is just better. And I'll have like a separate video on that coming up. Actually, it was actually supposed to go out, but then there was that mix-up with episodes and some other stuff. It didn't really fit into the schedule. And it really depends on hardware. Like, when it comes down to codecs and drivers and all that shit, it's just like, just use what you're gonna use. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I friggin' hate these stages. But yeah, at least in my experience on my hardware, it sounds better. So should have gone under him. It's alright. It's alright. Well, don't usually die to the bloopers this much. Also not playing like slow and careful like I usually do, so partially because I don't like the water stages. I would just rather be done with it. Caught on the corner there. Shit gone down. It's alright. Well, plenty of opportunities to get lots of 1-ups here in a minute. Plus, close to another 1-up, and as soon as I grab that coin, I'll have another 1-up, so... Oh wait, that was it, wasn't it? Motherfucker. I did like the opposite direction to try to throw him off. Maybe it was after that point. It might have been after that point. Yeah, you can kind of fake them out by doing like the opposite direction. If you get the timing down. It's okay. It's okay. Also, the momentum. I've never been good with the underwater momentum. Which is why most of the time in water levels, I just try to finish it as soon as possible. For some men, it's not finishing quickly enough. Dude, just go the opposite direction. That guy did not want to do it. He was like, alright, you go left, I'll go right. Sack of shit. Yeah. I mean, they can only move at like set intervals, so it is the safest way to avoid them. And we are gonna need coins later, but this is not like the time or the place to try to farm coins. Oh, you actually do get a 1-up for hitting the top of the thing? I actually need the 1-up, so... try to do this again. There we go. Because yeah, that's a solid way actually to get extra 1-ups, so just do the first couple levels over and over again. But... which I'm actually going to do a few times just because I don't like... I really don't like being down in the single digits, to be honest, but... yeah, that's gonna do it for today, though, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you guys found this episode entertaining or fun or chill or any of those things, really. I wanted to make this one a little bit more informative, just kind of, you know, doing a transition from one version of the game to another and for a different reason, and wanted to highlight some stuff, so that's gonna do it for part 17. Also, we'll get to that in a minute. So before we get going, as we usually do here at the end of the episode, a very special thank you and a couple of updates for you guys. So, very special thank you, first of all, to all the channel members who helped make this possible. Val Straconis, Don Sabino, WTF Corey, also, Big Diarrhea Dump, Dynactin, I hope I'm saying that right, JSpot51, Autumn Mayfield, and Sweet Gaming. Thank you guys so much for being channel members. Greatly appreciate it. Hope you guys are enjoying those membership benefits. A special thank you to WTF Corey, who actually gifted some of these channel memberships. It was very, very much appreciated. Awesome guy and YouTuber over there. But yeah, so once we get to 10, because we're at 9 members right now, once we get to 10, I'll be doing an ad-free series. I know, like, ad revenue is like, you know, a big part of things and blah 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 blah, but eventually if we can, I would like to, for regular series, like not run ads on series. And if we can get to enough members, I will do that for like all series, basically. Like every so often I'll still make, you know, evergreen videos and stuff and things that are more like algorithm friendly, but for the daily videos, eventually I would like to do them just without ads, just chill, you know? Because like on the real guys, like lately there's a few like series that I've been watching, and I kind of have this ritual with breakfast where I just like, I eat breakfast, drink my coffee, I watch some YouTube episodes, and like on the ad-free series, it's just so nice in the morning when I'm just like trying to chill and like, you know, ease my brain into the day kind of a thing. Or like if I want to take a nap, you know, and like leave something playing in the background, because that kind of helps with tinnitus. I have pretty bad tinnitus, so I have to at least have a fan. I have to have white noise. I at least have to have a fan running to even get sleep. But yeah. So, and honestly, like, memberships make a much larger difference than ad revenue for most of series and stuff. For all the evergreen content, like specific, you know, troubleshooting stuff and blah blah blah, those kind of videos. I hope each one that I make, I hope they do well. Sometimes they get views, sometimes they don't. Those ones, yeah, gonna, you know, try to just monetize the crap out of those. But for the regular, like, because these are some of my favorite people anyway, the ones that just stop by, talk, chat, hang out, chill. It's kind of what this game's, not this game, it's kind of what this channel's always been about. So if you guys can help swing it, that's really cool. And I would like to do that for the regular series for you guys. For some things. So yeah, so once we get to 10, I'll do one, probably a retro classic series, because for now we definitely rely on ad revenue, so it makes a big difference. But if we can get to 10 members, that's huge. That's a huge step in the right direction. And yeah, we'll get that one series ad-free forever. So I hope you guys enjoy it. So yes, totally optional, but highly appreciated. And just want to let you guys know that's what's going on with that. This episode was delayed. Originally, this came out, part 17 came out like 4 or 5 days ago. There were some serious problems with the audio and the visual. Basically, the TLDR there is, yeah, the HDMI splitter died. Also, there were like some pending updates. There was like a .NET framework thing. There was a couple other pretty important updates. I think that may have interfered with some things. So yeah, it caused problems. I was using MKV recording video format, so it didn't corrupt, and everything was fine, supposedly, and then, you know, did the YouTube upload thing, and then YouTube was like, yep, everything's fine with this, everything's good. And then double checked. Admittedly, usually I just check like the first like 12-15 seconds of a video, so if I'm fairly confident, like, it's good to go. So yeah, that's what I did, and I didn't catch that problem with parts 17 and 18. So I do apologize for that, guys, and also apologize for not having Mario 3 episodes for a few days. But this is what we're going to be doing for the rest of the series, getting those advanced coins, getting those e-reader coins, doing all the levels for the e-reader content, because that was such a big deal for this version of the game, and also the Wii U Virtual Console re-release. So, but yeah, for the April Members' Choice Poll, that's going to be coming up a little later than I initially said. Initially I said early April, probably the first week of April. Seeing as this episode, I think, is coming out on the 4th or the 3rd of April, and we still have at least 5 episodes, it's going to be the second week of April. So, probably starting closer to the 14th. So, around. That's not a set date. I'm just saying it's going to be closer to the middle of the month. So, all you channel members, for the Members' Choice Poll for April, that will be the week of voting. It'll be closer to the middle of the month. Stay tuned for an actual announcement on that. This is not a set date announcement. I'm just saying it'll be a little bit later. But for that and all your membership updates and everything, you can try the bell. I know it doesn't work for a lot of people. You now have access to the membership tab if you are a channel member, so you get the members only polls and also the updates related to those over there. But the community tab is where I post the public polls, or public posts and updates and announcements. I also put the same announcements on the Twitter and the Discord simultaneously. So if you guys want to follow or join over there, links are down there in the description, also in the channel banner. But that's gonna do it for today, guys. It's starting to get a little bit warm in here, so I gotta crack a window. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow at the usual time, noon Eastern, with another one of these. And there'll also be the regular video tonight, which I'm not sure which day this one's coming out, so I don't know if it's Tears of the Kingdom or Horizon Forbidden West. But thank you guys so much once again for being here. Till next time, take care, and I hope you all have a splendiferous day.